I was reading about it, and it's not that barbarians are stinky at all. Like they bathe like everybody else. It's just like the soaps in the Roman Empire were based on olive oil, and the soaps they used, like the Gauls and the Teutonics and all the Teutons and all those guys, or those tribes, their soap was based on animal grease, so that smelled different, and that's why they said like, oh, they smell. But it's just like they were washed. This they use different soaps.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned researching that,
Yeah.
and then that time period, because I've been just I fell down a loose rabbit hole. I don't think they did a super great job getting into some of the more interesting details of it, but I fell down this rabbit hole of the story of the Essex, which was a ship in the 1800s, which is basically the ship that inspired the Moby Dick story. And it was about it was about whaling at the time, and just and just sort of how absolutely brutal it was. Not even for the people necessarily. I mean, it was a hard lifestyle for the people, but the nature of whaling, dude, is fucking. They did a bunch of paintings back in the day. It's you know that apparently you've really got the thing once it starts vomiting massive waves of blood and like gore out of its blowhole. Yeah. And I was like, that is absolutely horrendous. But a lot of that obviously was not only perfume. That's where a lot of that, their stomach contents, ambergris. Futurama kind of did an episode on it. But their head, their brain, apparently is really what was more interesting. And that was like what helped, and according to this podcast, it was like what helped the Industrial Revolution, because people use that for lubricants, machine lubricants, and all kinds of shit going on from past then. But I was just like, such a horrendous way to go. And it was like 2 episodes worth of stuff, but they really put a hurting on the whale population. I mean, it was very crazy.
Everything in the high seas is horrible to some extent. I mean, nothing but respect for people who do that. But dude, like watching like Dangerous Catch, like dude, watching like when you eat crab at the restaurant, you know the guy who's catching that crab can get like that crab cage to the back of the neck, and that's like game over. And that boat is just like in the North Atlantic, like dude, I draw, like I want nothing to do with that. Ugh. I mean, the only guys who are whaling today are like the Japanese, right? Not to make this racist or anything, but
no, they're definitely whaling a lot, from what I understand, and I'm sure we do it still. I know that they do a lot of. I'm a big Gordon Ramsay fan, and I know a lot of people don't like his approach, and that's fine. But he's got a bunch of other shows where he's not yelling, right? And one of them is one of them is where he goes out and sources, like it's basically like, and it's not just food. Like he did one episode on cocaine and like went to like some jungle and like they let him, get in. Yeah, right. But
that's so touristy, man.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely shocks us here in the fertile comfort of Rome, if you will. But no, one of the episodes he did do that was sort of in this wheelhouse was, and I believe it was either Chinese, like a very rich Chinese like yacht, like a restaurant yacht type thing. But I know the Japanese do it a lot too. But shark fishing, but they're not really doing it for the shark meat specifically. They're doing it for the fins.
For the fin,
yeah. And then a lot of times from that documentary was they were talking about they don't even kill the sharks. They just defend them and toss them back in the water.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's and the shark dies.
Yeah, very painful and unnecessary.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is like down here, and again, I don't want to make this like racial or political.
Go ahead, buddy. We haven't got pornographic yet, so let's
well, hold that thought.
Hold that thought. No, because the thing is like down here we have a lot of problem with Chinese longliners, which a longliner is like a boat that will throw like miles and miles of lines with hooks, and it's a very, let's just say, destructive way of fishing. And those guys just edge like the border of the international waters, but they're like destroying like all the tuna wildlife. Because I mean, Panama, we don't have that many bluefin tuna, but we're like the yellowfin tuna kings of the world. Like all this area, like Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, like all the yellowfin, they're born here, and the Chinese just coming like, oh, we're gonna get all the yellowfins, motherfucker.
Oh, funny with the Panama man. He would take his fish.
Exactly. We're gonna get the fish, and we're on the edge of international water. You can do nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of. I mean, yeah, the fact that they are skirting international water, it's like, all right, still, you're not in our land. You know, you're basically following the rules, but it is still very bullish, in my opinion.
It's shitty. It's shitty.
It's like crossing the line a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So speaking of that, you ever see those videos of those guys on spring break who like to lure the sharks to the baby sharks to the shore and just give them a happy day?
No, Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that was. I don't remember if that was on the news or if I just saw a video about it, but yeah.
They're having sex with the sharks. They lure them in.
No, they're just
they lure them in and they red rocket them.
Yeah. They're stimulating.
Too pornographic, but
they're stimulating. Well, the thing is, like, okay, I've never seen people doing that to sharks, but in Colombia, like when I was there, like in the 90s, there was this huge like news of 2 guys who got killed by a dolphin.
Oh yeah. Well, the dolphins they'll get horny and go after you until they get you.
But okay,
once they get you, they drown you.
Yeah, no. This dolphin was very friendly. You know.
Hey, Pops.
What's up, Pops?
What up, Pops?
This dolphin was very friendly, so the guys were like drinking, as you do on Carnival or whatever.
Of course.
And the dolphin came to say hi. And I was like, dolphin, hey, dolphin, motherfucker, hey, dolphin. And one of the guys like hugged the dolphin and poured some beer down his blowhole.
Oh no!
Jesus.
So the dolphin went away. It's like, hey, you pissed off the dolphin, but the dolphin didn't leave. The dolphin was getting some distance to just ram them, and dude, he just like screwed them up, like
oh my gosh,
both dead. Yeah, dude,
don't give the dolphins beer.
Yeah,
I think he took that personally.
Not to the blowhole. Yeah, exactly.
If you could talk him into drinking it with you,
that is not their mouth. That is their lung hole.
Yeah, that they breathe out of that. Yeah, so yeah, that was.
Did you guys see
dumb.
Blackfish? That
Blackfish?
Blackfish?
Oh yeah, the documentary. Actually, you know, like I heard something on the Joe Rogan podcast that actually there's like a marine park in Canada that's worse than SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Called like Marineland or something, and it's like it makes blackfish look like a walk in the park. It's like, nah, dude.
Right. That guy that was on Joe's show. He's been on a few times. That's actually the guy that made the Blackfish documentary.
Yeah.
I just came across it, like the documentary, probably like 10-ish years ago, randomly on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I didn't read the synopsis or whatever. I was just like, it just looked like it was just an orca for the cover, and it said Blackfish. I was like, okay, this could be fun, and it was not fun.
No, it's not fun.
Yeah, it's just it's about the mistreatment of these killer whales, right? But it's really more about almost a psychological study of the animal and how it behaves under captivity and what they've learned about that. And like apparently they get depressed, like their fins stop being rigid,
being erect.
Right. Wow. There we go. Good one, buddy. But
no,
but
they lose their heart on for life. Yeah.
So apparently the only known killer whale attack, quote unquote killer whale attack, has been within those parks that Blackfish covered
or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And they moved that same one around, and they were like doping him up with Xanax and shit. It's and just keeping him in it is very strange when you look at it. Like I do love aquariums, you know, for like the oohs and ahs of it. But some of those animals probably don't need to be locked up. You know, like an orca needs a massive amount of space in a family environment, I think, right?
It's true.
Look, I don't know. Like I mean, in Pedro, we're surrounded by 2 oceans here, and we don't have aquariums just because you're like an hour away. And in September, you can see like whales moving. Like there's an island you go by boat, and there's like you see whales going like
Dude.
They don't sound like that. That's bullshit.
That's almost like a predator noise you hear on TV.
I don't know, maybe underwater, but I saw them. They're just splashing. Some of them are dicks because they splash really close to the boat.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
fuckers.
yeah. Oh, you want to see whales? See some whale dick?
Oh, jeez.
Swimming away. Jerk off.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
But
we
yeah,
get
it's
dolphins here a lot. I live in Panama
oh
City,
yeah,
Florida.
Mhm,
Yeah, just they come. There's like a couple different. Yeah, they've been around. I've swam through jellyfish too, not on purpose, but just
Oof.
Yeah, there used to be this bridge we would jump off of. It wasn't like terribly high up, it's like outside of a lake. And yeah, man, just hop into like you have no choice. You have to swim through.
Yeah.
It's just
pain.
It was painful, but it wasn't like and thankfully it was just the right type of jellyfish because some jellyfish, they will fucking kill you, man.
Yeah, there's one called like the Portuguese man o' war.
Yeah, we get those floating in here.
Yeah, dude, those are serious.
They're crazy looking, actually. Yeah. And I had a teacher. I've only seen one of those in real life one time, and it was dead. And my cousin and I, we did a beach day, right? And I just saw the top.
Did you touch it with a stick? Because people
no, but I did run at it because me and my cousin, we were just playing in the water, and I saw it. And I wasn't going to throw it at him. I was just going to pick it up and throw it at him. And I was just running towards him, and he like stops me. He's like, no. And, it eventually made its way to the shore. I don't remember if we picked it up with a stick, but no, it's like he's like, dude, that's a man of war, blah blah blah. And then like sometime later, I had to write it had to be like 7th grade because of this teacher I had. He had us open the dictionary and just like find a spot, pick something, and it wasn't a dictionary. It was like an encyclopedia or something. Ultimately, I ended up with I just happened to land on the Portuguese man of war.
Yeah. This is before the internet, kids.
Yeah. What's an encyclopedia? Wikipedia?
Yeah, I mean, the 7th grade. This was shit, dude. I don't even know. Probably early 2000s.
Dude, like the thing is, like to me, the internet was novel. It really started like in '98, like for real. At least, I mean, we get things like later, but like internet got serious in Panama like in '98. Like people like, oh, you have internet.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit. But before that, like my whole school, like I graduated school in '91, so no internet for me. In school, it was like, dude, like encyclopedias, and I have a monochrome computer with a huge ass monitor, and I use like DOS and Fortran and Cobol.
I remember the old Macs, those really old. Not
the Apple IIGS, you mean?
Yeah,
I had an Apple IIGS.
Was that the clear ones that was like in school, like here in Florida? Like they were really shitty at the time. They were fucking horrendous.
Dude,
no, these were the big towers that required floppy disks in order to even turn them on. Like they didn't have an operating system at the time.
Yeah, but the real floppy disks, or did you use like
they had the
3.5
ones that go.
Yeah, the 5.8. I think it was. Yeah, the 5.8. You had like the 3.5s, and those were cool.
Yeah,
and it was like, ooh, I have a zip drive. Wow.
That was the first computer I ever used when I was a kid in school, and then we ended up getting one from my dad's friend. We bought one from him because he bought a new computer, so he was like, "Here, you guys could have this for like whatever the hell my dad bought it for." That was the first home computer we had until that was like it was probably like 90. I want to say 92, 93, and then we got our compact Presario. In about Yes.
460 or 360?
I want to say it was probably 160. My parents probably didn't spring for the more expensive one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my first computer was an IBM, which had like the keyboard was integrated to the screen. It was like just one thing, and I think like my brother, my dad, and me stared at that shit for like 3 days. Like, what are we supposed to do with this?
Ooh.
We have a computer in the house, but it was freaking. It was
just playing Minesweeper.
No, dude, not even that. Dude.
Right.
Like it was for a moment. It was freaking like, what's that Stanley Kubrick movie with the caveman and the monolith? Like
A Space Odyssey.
Space Odyssey. Yeah, it was Space Odyssey.
Yes.
Just staring at it and touching it. It's like,
Oh, right.
oh my God, it's on.
The Major Tom.
Yeah, exactly. It was cool. But then, like, I picked up like programming really fast, but never like pursued it because, dude, like I was a master in like programming in DOS and Fortran. I remember, like, I used to sell programs in school. It's like people was like, make the screen write your name, and like I could do that really easy. I was charging people like $10.
We were basically a magician at the time. Like,
yeah, dude, I was a wizard.
Yeah,
I was a wizard, and I spent it all in bows.
There you go. As a wizard does. I think that comes with the
as a
territory.
wizard does. Yes.
Tucked up in your wizard's cabin. Where do they stay? Towers? Caves? No, I remember Neopets. Pedro, that was probably a little pasture flavoring, but I was probably, I mean, it was early. It was in the 90s for sure, right? Dial-up was still a thing.
Yeah.
I remember thinking my pet was going to die if I didn't get on there.
Yeah, because we're probably used to Pokemon,
Neopets.
right?
They had another name down here. It was like a little like the Tamagotchi.
Well, those are the Pocket Pets.
Yeah,
Neopets was this web browser thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a website. It was a website virtual pet.
Yes.
Except
they were cool.
Yeah, they were. It's weird. It's funny because there was like games you could play. It was really kind of weird. There's a lot of advertising on it. You go on now, you need a virus protector, just to view the website. Yeah, probably did back then too. But I mean, heck, it was the early 2000s, right?
but what could they take from you in that time? Like your computer has a virus. What they do? Like I do.
Yeah, it's like okay.
Yeah.
Well, that home computer I talked about, that compact Presario, right? It got so bad because I used Napster and then Kazaa, Morpheus, all those things that give you viruses. My buddy was a computer whiz, and we gave him at some point the computer stopped working, and we gave it to him, and he said that we had a virus that duplicated itself 250 times. It's the same virus over and over and over and over again.
Wow.
I like it.
I was like, how does that even happen?
Okay, so this is a nerd test now. Did you ever take your desktop computer to a friend's house, to a LAN party?
I did not, but I would have had my parents allowed it, but they were very stuffy. But I was luckily playing, I played Quake. I think
Quake was a LAN game. Yeah.
Right. I got into online gaming very early on. So that was this, or couch co-op, with the friend next door. But no, I just couldn't take the computer out of the house. But I would have, because I prefer couch co-op actually.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, before there was online gaming, there was LAN parties.
Oh yeah.
Like a bunch of nerds will bring their computers to one house and hook them up and play like freaking I don't know, StarCraft,
Doom.
Doom.
Eventually, it would be bring your Xboxes over and play Halo.
Yeah, exactly.
PlayStation for me.
No women in sight. Not even the spirit of sex anywhere.
No.
It was sad.
Yeah, a lot of stinky balls, right? Mountain Dew cans.
Mountain Dew cans and cheese curds.
Cheese doodles.
Yeah,
cheese doodles.
Doritos.
Yeah.
Why is that a staple for nerds? Why do we?
Yeah, and there's always like nasty snacks. Like somebody will be like, "What do you bring?" Like, I brought shrimp crackers. Why?
What? Right?
God damn it.
Yeah.
It's what I had at home. It's like,
I brought
it's all I had before I jumped on a bus to get here.
Dude, you're stinking up the place, man. Not cool.
Man, good stuff.
I had some beef jerky the other day, and I used to thought that I really loved it, and
You didn't?
Well, unfortunately, it just really sort of reeked of farts. I opened it, I'm like, damn, I don't remember beef jerky smelling so farty.
Oh man. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I
like, hey,
still
want some
love.
beef jerky? And I'm like, no, thank you.
Well, was
In
it
fact,
was
I'm
it
gonna be
store
over
bought?
there while you eat.
Yeah, was it store bought or
It was store bought. It was store bought.
okay?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That may
Like,
you may hold a good point to that, and it's also
Mm-hmm.
I forget. It was like it wasn't Jack Link's. It was the other one. It was like this Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue flavor. It just I opened it and resealed it immediately. I was like, hey,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is not good. No, dude, like that happened to a friend of mine. Like, you know when you get like your first job and you're always broke.
Yeah.
yes.
So this friend of mine, like I was clever enough to get my first job really close to my house, so I could just walk to my house, have lunch, and come back. So this friend, like, he lived far away, and dude, like, we were like 2 days away from payday, and he bought this like cup of noodles. Cup. I was
Oh,
like, dude,
yeah.
this is my lunch, man. I'm so hungry. And he was a little like kitchenette area, dude. And he opens the cup of noodles, and just like a flock of moths comes out.
Oh my gosh,
Jesus.
what? How does that even happen?
And he ate it.
He ate it?
He
After
was
the
like,
moths came
he
out?
was like, I ain't got more money.
Break him off of
I probably would have
crumbs
decided
or
to
something.
starve for the week.
Yeah, dude.
would
Poor
have been
guy,
turned
man.
off. I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, dude. No, this guy, he's a good friend of mine. He's an awesome anchor, but dude, he has stories. He has like
Oh,
tons of
man.
stories like that.
We got Neo Star in the house. What's up,
There
buddy?
you go. That's a
Rising
clever
to the
man.
occasion.
Neo Star.
Mr. Riser
Yeah.
Man.
Yes, sir.
He says, hell, my job is only 10 minutes away from my house. Yes,
That
it
is a
great
great
feeling.
luxury.
And that's
Mine's
how you
about
do it.
25 minutes,
Mhm.
and in the snow, it's even longer.
Oh, Jesus, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Never had that pleasure, really, of having to deal with the
Oh,
snow.
dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if I can handle it, like if, for example, when I had the animation school was like 4 blocks away from my house.
Oh, wow.
Just because I selected like the locale to put as like, no, I want to be really close to my house, because dude, home cooked meals it's a luxury, man.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be eating out, dude. That sucks.
No, it eats your money. So especially now, it's so expensive to eat out. It's like, forget it.
Yeah, it is your money out, and dude, and you are dancing with diarrhea. That's
that's
just
a good point too.
You ever dance with diarrhea in the pale?
you dance with diarrhea. You better wear the proper shoes.
Well, whenever my kids say they want McDonald's, and I'm like, I don't feel like diarrhea tonight,
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. Even though, like, you know, I don't have. Well, I do have a kid, but he's 21 now. But the best thing is to give him McDonald's, because they fall asleep.
Oh, right.
It's a lot of poison. They
Overloads them with carbs.
Yeah, you can have a nice 2 hours of quiet.
Because it's just so heavy they can't move after that meal. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Why did I do this to myself? That's what I say every single time I eat McDonald's. Why did I do this to myself? I paid for this.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. In McDonald's combo, like, I don't know how it's in the US. Like, dude, the food prices in the US are insane. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fathom like how much you pay for like a McDonald's combo, but down here is like $8, $6 to $8 around.
It's about the same, honestly.
It is about the same here, too.
Inflation has caused McDonald's
Depends
to
on
not
which
be
meal.
cheaper than like going to an actual restaurant.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
crazy.
It's funny. I was just gonna say, McDonald's was my first job, and I remember this was like when I was 17, so a long time ago. But I can remember the price of a McDouble rising. I remember back in the day it was like 108.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was 107, and I remember it going up a penny. I remember the day it went up a penny. I was like, son of a bitch.
People are gonna riot.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is now, but I think it's like 2 and some change. I think it's like 212 for McDouble.
I think it's gone up quite a bit.
Dude, I don't know.
Star.
Like, yeah, but there's a McDonald's on the. Oh, I don't know, man. Like right now, I don't know if you guys have this kind of like restaurant. They're called fondas down here. You know what a fonda is?
Fun dot?
Fonda. A fonda would be. Yeah, it's like a really like basic restaurant owned by an old lady, and she makes like meals of the day. There's no menu. It's like we have chicken, rice, salad, and beans, and that's it, son. And dude, that's like 350. But it's like a nice home cooked meal. And the thing is,
Oh.
like, yeah, some ladies are nuts, so you avoid the fondas of old ladies that
For
are
the
nuts.
crazy ladies.
Yeah, for the crazy ladies, but some are really good, man. And that's the thing. Like, I have no business in McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, nah, dude.
Sounds like a good business opportunity here since we don't have those.
Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, doing a fonda.
Get your grandma to send you to make home cooked meals every day.
Yeah, dude.
And
The
you can
elderly
tell
aren't
them.
doing nothing. You grab old ladies, put them to
Yeah.
cook. You know.
Yeah, I'm getting some Ben Stiller vibes from Happy Gilmore, where he puts those old ladies to work in that nursing home,
exactly.
making sweaters.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, just do your fingers hurt? Well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's a great movie, man.
It is a good one. That is a good
Dude,
one.
and speaking of Ben Stiller, like people were going after Tropic Thunder, man. What about that?
Oh man, Tropic Thunder because of Robert Downey Jr. in blackface.
Blackface. The thing is, to me, Simple Jack is more offensive than
Yeah, I mean,
Robert Downey in blackface.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I guess both those things are offensive.
But that movie is awesome, man.
But the one time South Park actually did rub me the wrong way was the episode when Cartman dressed up like someone with special needs so he could try to win the Special Olympics.
Yeah,
that was the one time South Park did that. I was like, no, South Park, no, let's not do this. This is a little too far.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. Like sometimes jokes don't land, but they don't come from a place of evil. Like, and the thing is, like South Park is even in their, I don't know, assholeness. Like they're assholes to everybody.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I don't take them seriously. I know they're not. They don't mean it. You know, whatever, man.
I think that's the same episode that Jimmy is taking steroids.
Yes,
Timmy?
it is the same episode. Jimmy's taking
Jimmy,
steroids.
the one in crutches.
Oh, Jimmy, the comedian.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Jimmy and Timmy.
The character on crutches in the show.
And Lacey, and he has like
beats
a
his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He kind of does the whole. It also works as a drug PSA against steroids as well. That episode.
Dude, to me, but when they introduced Jimmy and Timmy didn't like him, it was like triple fight.
Yes, yeah. That was classic stuff.
That's classic.
But
it's one of the best Cartman lines where he just runs into runs into places. Yeah.
And they have those two special needs kids that kind of work as 19 basically they're Bugs Bunny characters, the mobsters. And I think he even calls him Muggsy, but he does like the
Muggsy
like face like the mafia. So you come to me.
It's Mimsy, that's his name.
Mumsy.
Mimsy. Well, the
yes,
character.
Mimsy, yes.
Yeah,
dude, I haven't seen South Park in years, man. That's the thing. Like it lost the sheen to me. I mean, it's
really?
not particularly good animation.
Yeah.
So I get distracted by how poorly animated it is. So I just stopped watching it. But right now, like animated shows that I'm watching, I don't know. I'm afraid to watch anything new. I have to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's well, you know, that's the weird thing. We or not we, but just we as viewers in general, right, complain that there's nothing like original, but it's so scary to watch something new.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't know what kind of agendas will be in it or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Even though Neo Star here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pedro, sorry.
What was the name of that show? Okay, let me do a quick search.
That's
the last show I actually enjoyed. Was a Netflix animated show called Final Space.
What was it?
It's called Final Space.
Final Space.
Yeah, it's like a parody, or like if you would do like Star Trek, but in a Rick and Morty style, a little bit more polished than Rick and Morty.
Right.
Really well animated, and it's a funny show. Like Fred Armisen, it's one of the.
He is funny.
Yeah, he's
Portlandia
weird.
was funny.
Yeah, he's
It was-
weird.
We're living in Portlandia basically right now with just hipsters trying to rule the world. But like I popped that show on a couple days ago. It was like, this is, these are now like bullies, like all these sort of nerdy Portland channels.
Yeah.
But Neostar makes a good point here. To be fair, literally all the special ed kids beat Cartman in that episode. Yeah, he did.
Yes, that is true. That is true, but
but still, that was risky. Yeah, it was a risk.
Tally.
Tally.
Tally, bam. Tally.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. South Park. I always say South Park has aged like fine wine, and those other shows have aged like milk.
Like milk, yeah.
Family Guy, Simpsons, Futurama, all those things that came out of Beavis and Butthead, all those things that came out around the same time as South Park are not good today.
Yeah.
You know what I've watched recently?
I don't know. Like Futurama has its moments. I can like rewatch some Futurama shows.
I love Futurama.
I can't watch past like the third season.
Like true.
Because that was like the prime in its prime in like the early 2000s, and they've made new episodes since then, but it's just not. It just doesn't feel that you just. I don't know what it is about the early seasons, but
it's the writing team.
Yeah.
The writing team changed, and once that happens, the dynamic is gone and the magic is gone. And the thing is, like animated shows are made to last 4 seasons.
Yeah.
That's how you make your money.
Really not meant to go on for too long,
Yeah, the Simpsons is a freak of nature. South Park is another freak of nature, and that's the thing. Like I would have stopped if I were like Prey and Matt Stone. I would have stopped with South Park years ago.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I thought they were gonna stop when they make like Team America: World Police, which is another movie I love.
Yes, that one. I never laughed so hard in a movie theater than when I saw that movie.
Yeah, dude. They blow up the Panama Canal on that one.
And that's right. They do have the Panama Canal on that one.
And the thing is, like, dude, you go to the Panama Canal and we don't have like fruit stands right next to it, dude. Like people here were rolling on the floor watching at that. Like everybody, with Mexican sombreros. Like, dude, we don't dress like that. But it was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
Like,
it was meant to be kind of like this like misconception kind of thing. It was
not meant to be like people don't take that's another thing. Like people like take offense on our behalf as if we don't know it's a joke. Like, dude, of course. Like,
right, exactly.
The Panama Canal is not like that, but it's freaking funny that dude, like there was like live chicken right next to the locks. It's like
right. Well, that movie came out right before social media was starting to become popular. So it was probably one of the last truly offensive movies that really kind of was able to be made without like the Twitter backlash,
Yeah. You make a good point. I do think the world is sort of ripe for, and maybe the movie isn't exactly your flavor, but I've always been really impressed with the first Hangover movie. I felt like to me, it was hilarious, but there was also a good storyline throughout, and there was good characterization. It was a difference. Like there's 2 styles of humor in a way, right? You've got maybe something like The Hangover, which is a bit more classier, I'd say, compared to something like a Will Ferrell style movie. Both are hilarious. I'm not saying one's better than the other.
Yeah,
but I am saying, I do think. I do personally. I guess maybe I'm just hungry. I guess I can't speak for the world, but I'd love something that was like. There was a movie, I forget what it's called, but it came out on Netflix a couple months ago. Seal made an appearance in it. Kissed by a Rose, right? Crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I forget the movie. The setup and everything. It almost looked like it could have been inspired by The Hangover, and it just didn't go near as hard.
Didn't land.
Yeah, it didn't try to go as hard, and maybe that was it. Maybe that wasn't them necessarily holding back and just trying to do their own thing. But personally, all of this to say is, when somebody comes out with something that's not, then they're not afraid to push the boundaries. I think they're gonna get some good feedback. I mean, they're gonna get some pushback, but that doesn't
You
really
just said
matter,
the
really.
word, Ginge. You said the word. Like you can't really be creative if you're afraid, and that's what's
Right.
happening to movies today. Like everybody is like, "Am I gonna offend the pygmies or the Eskimos?" Like, and that way, there's no room for you to experiment. There's no room for you to say anything. So,
Exactly.
and that's why movies suck.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but dude, like I'm not entertained by anything. I was dragged to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh yeah, the newest one or is the one previous?
The newest one. The newest
Oh yeah.
one. Yeah, it was.
I actually enjoyed it for the most part.
It was all right. It was all right, but
Yeah.
dude,
I saw a comment that I agree with. Before I saw it, I saw the comment and it said, Ant-Man Quantumania is the best Star Wars movie I've seen in a long time. And it's like, yeah, I could totally see that. I could totally see that pretty much being a Star Wars movie. I mean, the basic rundown of the story is pretty much.
But the thing is, like
classic
I noticed that they like pulled back a little bit on all like the messaging.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, like the shows were getting like really strong on the message, like men suck, women the best, and minorities or whatever. They didn't do that. There was like a comment then like, hey, socialism is good, which is like, ugh.
Yeah,
that was the only moment,
comment, right? But
the only moment when
they said that in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was meant to be more of a joke. It was kind of like, because he was talking about his ants and how connected and efficient they are, and he's like, "Hey, I know socialism is a charged word, but
we will."
It's like it was kind of meant to be like a joke.
Yeah,
was that Ant-Man that said that, or
dude, that to me was
that was the Michael Douglas character.
Yeah, Hank Pym.
Hank Pym.
Yeah.
But to me, that was like nails on the chalkboard, man. Like,
yeah.
It's funny because for me, I really can't think of a Marvel movie that I actually like. I mean, I'm not saying they're all bad. I just kind of fell off. I liked the first Avengers, but I don't think it's it's not a bad movie, but I do think it's all pretty much diminishing returns from there.
Sure.
As far as the Ant-Man movies go, though, those actually happen to be my favorites out of them, just because they are. I felt maybe I'm just not as I don't know, up to snuff on my sniffing out shenanigans, but I enjoyed the first two Ant-Man movies. I enjoyed the first one just because it made me laugh, surprisingly, and I enjoyed the second one. Maybe with like some personal bias, but I remember hearing about the Wasp actress getting some BS because at the time she said she liked how she felt her character played a more traditionally feminine, supportive role to Ant-Man, as opposed to a whatever modern day yada. Right, and then that same actress went to like an anti-vax or whatever, or march or whatever.
Right.
And then they were trying to give her shit about that. And so personally, I'm kind of in favor of supporting her just because she's not afraid to go out and do her thing.
Yeah, right.
And I happen to like the two Ant-Man movies, but I haven't seen this third one. So,
and if you like the first two, you'll like this one. I think Ant-Man has a lot of heart. I think he's like the everyman's superhero. Like he's not really a superhero. He's really just a dork with superpowers. Yeah, I think that's what makes him really likable.
He's a dude
especially in Endgame. Like he kind of stole the show in some parts of Endgame. Especially when he was like, as far as I'm concerned, that is America's ass. Like that line is like the epitome of fandom right there. Like
he was trying really hard to be like friendly to all the guys. But I don't know, like my top Marvel films would have to be Iron Man 1.
Right. Okay.
And Captain America 1. Those are the ones where I was like giddy like a kid.
Yeah.
The first Iron Man rocks. I kind of forget.
Yeah, dude.
It's a solid movie, and I mean.
No, dude. The thing is like that feeling. Like I'm not American.
Yeah.
So, okay. I want to say that like that. And dude, when the U.S. Army was storming the Hydra base with Iron Man.
Yeah.
I was screaming America.
Yeah.
Dude, like it gets you pumped. Like in that's missing in movies today.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like that in the music, like and the Howling Commandos coming there. Oh, dude, that was freaking awesome. And I look for moments like that in my action movies. And right now I'm getting like lectured.
Yeah, and that's because Hollywood is moving closer and closer to sucking the big Chinese, you know what, wang, so to speak.
The wang.
There you go.
They cater
and actually,
to China
it makes like it smells like shrimp snacks.
Because they realized, there's more people in China than the rest of the world. So there's more money in China than the rest of the world.
No, okay, but that's the thing. Like, okay, China is like 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
But the world's like 8 billion.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to cater to 1.4 billion. The rest of the world.
Just the one country, right? But they also have that power that comes with them. The political power of all this liberal. I don't even call it liberal anymore. I really think it's more authoritarian.
Yeah.
But either way, China supports a lot of those nonsense things, which is funny because they don't support all of it. When the Queen movie went over to China, they had to get rid of any words that resembled gay or homosexuality or anything. The Queen movie, the main character is a homosexual.
Is gay. Yeah, it really represents not the gay community, but it represents the gay. Like Freddie Mercury was the gay of the 80s. Yeah, and like, dude, when they took Black Panther to China, they had to cover Chadwick Boseman's face with the uniform because they don't want we don't want a black man on that.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they went through with that. To be honest with you,
well,
I guess I shouldn't be, but that's so.
They preach this stuff here, but in China, it's a completely different preaching.
And the thing is, like, I don't want to say like, oh, like China is a racist country. It's not that. It's just that they are they're mono-ethnical. Yeah. In the sense that they don't have a diaspora per se. They have like Han Chinese, they have Manchu, different, but they're all Chinese.
Yeah.
So when you bring somebody who looks like me, I'm a freaking fly on the milk. I'm just like, oh, look at him.
Fly in the Chardonnay, my brother.
Look at him, he's so tall. It's like, and that's the thing. Like we look weird to them. Yeah. Nothing bad. So when what they say is like, it's like black people don't sell in China, so don't put them on the poster. That happened with Star Wars too. Like, dude, that little British kid. What's the name of?
I really like John Boyega.
Right?
John Boyega, like, dude, his Chinese poster, he's like this size.
Yeah.
Dude. They reduced it. It's like, no sell.
That sort of seemed to be the angle, and the I don't know if you call it a theory or what, or that he was really going to take a much larger role. In the Star Wars series, probably even being a Jedi, right? They showed him with the lightsaber.
Okay, he was supposed to be.
Yeah, well, there was so much nonsense with the production of those movies. Like, I don't know why they made the decision to change the director from movie to movie. Like, they had J.J. Abrams. He had an idea for a trilogy that was probably going to be pretty good. And then they were like, yeah, you know what? Let's get Rian Johnson in here instead. And then Rian Johnson was like, well, all those things that we didn't like about the first movie, we're not going to do anything with those plot lines at all. And then they brought J.J. Abrams back for the third one. And it's like, why would you do that again? And then he's like, hey, you know what? F you, Rian Johnson. We're going to do this and completely. So just storytelling from one to the next is just nonsensical because they had that infighting,
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just one part of it, Then you also had the what's her face at the top.
The Tide Pod commercial. I remember that. Dude,
shit too,
I laughed my balls off.
Tide Pod commercial.
Yeah, dude. There's this Tide commercial in China where.
Can I play it, Pops? Can I play it or?
No, don't play it, man. You're gonna get in trouble.
No, don't play.
No, don't play.
I'll have to.
It's like this pretty Chinese girl. She's with a black guy, and she's making a face like, and then she throws him in a washing machine, and in comes like a skinny, like supposedly good-looking Chinese guy.
Oh my gosh!
So like, and she's like, yeah. It's like, dude, you're both ugly. Shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude. Because that's the thing. Like, they think I'm ugly, but I think they're ugly too. So we cancel each other out.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty on the nose over there. It seems. I actually do remember that commercial. Now that you, yeah. There was like a rash of very like racially driven. You'd probably call that racist humor. I say that word very
Okay.
lightly because
There's a certain part of should I say my community, like I consider I'm myself. Like I don't adhere myself. Like I'm part of this group. That's the dumbest thing you could do. But regarding like the black community in Latin America, which we're called Afro Latinos or something, they call it like that. Some are sensitive to stuff like that. Like I don't really care. Like, hey, dude, if you don't like me, whatever. Like that's in your head and that's your problem. I'm living my life, and I'm gonna hang out with people who like me. And
Right.
a lot of ladies
Yeah.
do. So,
Hey,
so
well, hey, you can't argue with that. But no,
exactly.
I want to touch back on this a little bit here,
Mhm.
and but before we do that, let's throw this in. Inside every black guy is a Chinese model, apparently. And
I
you
mean,
know
they
what?
fit. They fit because they're
There's,
small.
yeah, I mean, if only there was a way to sort of like
Yeah.
moonlight as a black dude as a Chinese male model and get
Mm.
away with it. I don't know if
Yeah,
there's
exactly. I don't think there's a middle ground with that.
no, but so for me, I'll say this about J.J. Abrams because I really
But
don't like him as a
me
creative.
neither. Me
I
neither.
liked a bit of Lost. Actually, I thought it was
Mm.
clever. I didn't see through the show. I got sort of to the point where they started making their way off the island a little bit, like just hanging
Yeah.
out in the waters and met some new characters. Point being, I remember seeing his Star Trek in theaters when that came out, and I saw it with my best friend.
Mhm.
And he turned to me and he's like, "Bro, you know he can do Star Wars now." And I was like, because I didn't like his Star Trek either.
Me
And
neitce. Me neither.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
The only sequence I liked from his Star Trek was the sequence with Picard's father at the beginning
opening?
of the opening of the
Right.
Star Trek, where his father like it gets destroyed
Oh,
by the ship.
yeah,
Dude, that
yeah,
was
that's
very cool, and that movie was very promising. It's like, wow, go
Mhm.
JJ.
yeah.
And then the rest of the movie happened. I was like, wow, okay, yeah, it's still you. And
Yeah, it's and I know a lot of people maybe like those movies or not, but I
Mhm.
didn't take away from them that he was going to be able to that it was just like, oh, that's the guy I want to do Star Wars. But I remember
Yeah, I
him
mean, I'm not a
obviously.
fan. I'm not a fan of JJ. Not
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
I just I guess I'd like maybe Mike, maybe you know what JJ's like larger plan was for the whole
Hmm.
trilogy, but even the first movie I didn't like, and let me just say why real quick. It's because it was just a sort of a repeat of A New Hope, and
Yeah, it was a rehash.
I felt
It
that
was
was
a
Kind of
very,
rehashed a
very.
little bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
I understand why he did it because it's safe and it gives everybody the member berries and it's a guaranteed,
Yeah.
proven formula that will work.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And conversely, people hated Phantom Menace because it really wasn't. It was something new and creative and different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's just people. Oh well, it's not da 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 da. But I think those movies have now sort of come to be
Dude,
venerated in a way.
you know, no, you know
People,
what was the problem with Phantom Menace? Because I was an old man when Phantom Menace came out. All the fans who grew up watching Star Wars wanted an adult Star Wars, and Phantom Menace had that whimsy of A New Hope, which is a kids movie that adults could watch.
Yeah.
And Jar Jar Binks. So that's why
Yeah.
everyone's like, ah, no. But Phantom Menace, like I've rewatched that movie several times, and it's all right. It's not the best. And the good thing and the bad thing, because movies should be good on their own. But if you watch the Clone Wars, the series, the
Mhm.
animated series,
Gennady
it gives
Tartakovsky's or
no the Johnny Tartakovsky's. It's like a snippet and it's like a trailer. It's really good. And actually, technically, I like it better than the animated show. But the Clone Wars, the one that was CGI,
right.
the story, the treatment of the story, it gets so much contact to the Clone Wars, which makes it even better when you watch the movies. Like if you watch the show and rewatch the movie, it's like,
Right.
wow, dude. Especially
Yeah.
with the clones. Because dude, like
Yes.
the show fleshed out the clones so much. It's like it's a
Mhm.
freaking tragedy, man.
Yeah, I Clone Wars era just happens to be one of my favorite eras of Star
Mhm.
Wars. It's like heated battle. I love how the
Mhm.
Jedi took on clone armor. I love that, just the look.
Yeah.
It's also got a lot of my favorite characters. Neostar says confidentially here.
Yeah.
I like
Way to give it confidential here.
your secret's safe with us, buddy.
Yeah.
Secret safe with us live on the internet.
But he says that movie, but that was more because of individual characters as opposed to the overall movie. I understand why people didn't like it. I understand why people don't like the parts of the Clone Wars they don't like, which is some of that.
Jar Jar.
Well, yeah, people didn't like Jar Jar from Phantom Menace. People didn't like some of Anakin's acting and some of the dialogue, some of the the writing.
That kid sucked. Sorry, but that kid is a bad actor.
Are you talking about Hayden Christensen or the little kid?
Well, Hayden Christensen gave a wooden performance, but that's because Hayden Christensen is not a bad actor. I've seen him in other movies, and he's really good. It's just that George Lucas' style of directing is like, okay.
Yeah, the thing about Lucas is he's not that good of a director. And
he's not.
That's why him completely having control over Star Wars in episode 1, 2, and 3 was kind of what hurt it, because the first 3, the original trilogy, he was kind of, he did direct, but there were also other writers and directors there that kind of kept him level, so to speak.
Right. And you see it in the performances, like Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, like those guys don't need much, but dude, if you're a 10-year-old kid who is like a block of wood, and the director is like,
just got this frog of a man pitching
let's
ideas at you.
Let's prep for the next scene. Good. That's how he directs. So it's like, dude, nah. And dude, Darth Maul to me is the best villain ever, man.
So secretly too, I do like the Phantom Menace.
What's shame in it, bro? Let your freak flag fly.
I was 12 when that movie came out, so that was like the Star Wars movie I saw in theaters, because I had watched the original trilogy only on TV, because I was a little kid when they were being re-released, But
Darth Vader in '77, dude, guy was scary, man. Scary, kids. We're in the era of like slasher films, like late '70s. Like you're getting like Halloween, those kind of movies. We don't have Jason yet. I think Jason came in the '80s, but you have like Halloween and Phantasm and all this like slasher films. And it comes this movie in a genre that doesn't exist yet, like the epic sci-fi. That was Flash Gordon.
Right
from the newsreels. There's no movies like this. And when people go to the movies, they go, "What's this? Star Wars? That sounds dumb." And dude, like I was 3 when episode 1 came out, so I can't remember. My dad, I remember vaguely how my dad reacted to the movie. But when Empire came out, I'm 5. Now I do remember that. It was just like, dude, like I went in pajamas to another cinema with like the shitty like speaker that you hook on the door of the car, and you watching like, dude, Empire Strikes Back, like the AT-ATs coming at the snow base, dude, and then like Darth Vader coming in, dude, people were shitting their pants. There's something, and that's the thing. Like Darth Maul was more like acrobatic, slick,
he was
evil,
more cool. It was scary.
And Grievous is more like a monster. But Darth Vader is like an unstoppable presence. Like when he's there, you're fucked. Exactly. And that's something that hasn't been replicated in any other Star Wars villain. So
it's
that's
true.
the thing. And that's the thing. Like, for example, when Rogue One, that last sequence, when you just see like the red lightsaber coming, like, oh shit, it's Darth Vader, I felt the same thing. And that's the thing. Like, that's wow. Okay, I'm getting.
You actually really presented it in an interesting context, because I've never, obviously, I wasn't there to see it, but putting Darth Vader compared to other horror icons of the time and other horror movies, looking at him as he were a horror slasher character. A guy with just that red lightsaber almost becomes twice as scary all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, it's just the presence. Because the thing is, like, he's not a flashy fighter. He moves not clumsily, but like
just slow,
precise. But he's precise. His strikes are just
robotic.
like, you're dead, dead,
Right.
dead. And dude, that's something that Grievous was really flashy. Also, like just
Right.
prancing around.
Once George Lucas had bigger budgets, he really went ham on the fight and stuff. That might have been what appealed to my 13-year-old brain with Phantom Menace was the awesome lightsaber battles and the droids. I actually have two characters that were inspired by Obi-Wan and freaking.
Dude, and you know who I was expecting that to from freaking Palpatine. From Darth Sidious. I was expecting that same kind of person, and they made him like a flashy, jumpy fighter. It's like, no, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, they paired him with Yoda, so they kind of
exactly.
Oh, hold up now. Hey, very nice.
Oh, look at that, dude.
See what you're doing.
So yeah, that and this is one of them, and then this is the other.
Oh, nice.
So my version of a lightsaber is their arms. They focus their chi or ki, whatever you want to call it, into their arm, and it pretty much becomes a lightsaber.
Yeah, I like that actually. Very cool.
Yeah, dude, very cool. Like the pulses.
So I wrote those characters, or I started those characters when I was 13. Stop sharing the void there. I just wanted to show it off real quick. And so I basically, because of Star Wars, I made those characters.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. Like, for example, if you watch the last, I can't even remember the names of the movies, but the new sequel of Star Wars. Are you inspired to design anything?
I haven't seen the last one actually. I fell asleep. I was so underwhelmed with the first movie of the newest trilogy, and then that's the culture war really popped off around then, and I was on that train. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep during Rian Johnson's one and woke up at the scene where Leia was outside of the ship. And I was like, why the fuck is this movie still on right now?
Space Mary Poppins, yeah.
And I just didn't see and haven't seen the newest one. So, I don't know.
Oh, the theory is that Jar Jar Binks was going to be Darth Sidious' master. He was supposed to be Darth Plagueis. That was the original.
Talk about rumors about Jar Jar Binks. I remember in the early days of the internet between episode 1 and 2, it was like 2001. So you only find these things on random message boards. But I remember the rumor was Jar Jar Binks was actually going to become Boba Fett.
Oh no! What I read, and it's speculation too, but it sounds really cool because George Lucas. You see like footage of George Lucas saying like Jar Jar is the center of everything. Like he's saying that, and that the thing was supposed to be that Darth Sidious was the apprentice, and Jar Jar was Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Really?
Yeah, but then they changed it to Count Dooku.
That would absolutely blow my fucking mind. That would have blown my mind. I don't know if it'd have been a good thing, truthfully.
Yeah.
I don't think I like it just because it's like
but dude, check out in episode 1, like how he jumps into the lake, like there's a backwards or whatever, and then in the
bumbling fool, like a ploy. Was he faking it?
He was faking it because in the battle with the droids, when he gets entangled with it, he's fighting drunken boxing. He's just doing like whoop, whoop, and then like he moves, and then he shoots one, whoop, and he shoots the other one, and he's playing the fool. He's always playing the fool. Like, but the thing is, like, he was so well received by the people that George Lucas said, like, "Fuck it, we're not going with that. We're not going with that." So they came up with Count Dooku.
It's just a cocaine rash he had, like writing the first movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Count Dooku is the weakest of them all.
Yeah,
and he's the only Sith besides Darth Vader and Darth Sidious to actually survive 2 movies. Because you have Darth Maul, he dies. You have Count Dooku, 2 movies, he dies, right?
Yeah.
So the only ones in the last 2 movies.
Yeah, the concept of Count Dooku is not bad.
Yeah.
But you can tell it was rushed. That's the thing. Like, what? A Jedi that resigned Even
And
though,
it was-
like, if you play the Django Fett game,
Mhm.
I think it was on PS2
Yeah,
or
Bounty Hunter.
Bounty Hunter. Dude, that kind of fleshes out Count Dooku a little bit better. Because that's when Django meets him and he gets recruited to be like the template for the clones. And it's like, oh, okay, this is Count Dooku. But in the movies, it's like he came out of nowhere. It was just
Yeah, he did come out of nowhere. I liked him personally, and I liked the relationship he had, still almost being somewhat cordial, like face to face with his
Yeah.
former, coworkers. Essentially, it's like it added a little depth of flavor to their universe. But
I don't know, man. To me, it was Saruman.
Hey, I hate to
It was
say it. I
Saruman.
gotta get going. And
oh yeah, we're
I
at an
think
hour anyway.
we all do.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Awesome conversation, man. We're just shooting shit.
I love the chatting.
Yeah.
We definitely got to do this more for sure.
Yeah,
All righty.
let's do it.
Mike, you can head out. We're just going to say
All right.
goodbye to the chat real
Thanks
quick.
for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you later.
Cheers, brother.
Take care, dude.
Thank you.
Neo Star says, I won't lie, fellas. The whole culture war thing took me completely by surprise. You can head out, Mike, if you need to. When I bought some of the new comics under all different Marvel, I was in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. Man, we should talk Star Wars more often. I was ready to rock and roll. Okay, so we'll go ahead and thank the chat. Ichthus, thanks for coming by, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you, guys. Yeah.
All right, and RJ is ready to rock and roll. So, all right, everybody. Let me see who we have next week. Let me see. We have Brian Christogow coming on next week.
Nice.
Six Gun Gorilla.
Six Gun Gorilla.
Yeah, man. Probably talk some horror. I
Mm-hmm.
was just about to mention the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing connection in Star Wars. How Peter Cushing played Grand Admiral Moff Tarkin.
Moff Tarkin, yeah.
Yeah, and later Christopher Lee would come back, but that was, I'm sure he must have known that was his, one of his best friends had a huge role like that, even though it was small in the movies. But okay, all righty, everybody. Well, we want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you next week. Pops, are you gonna hit the ads, or should I go ahead and
hit them ads? Hit them. Hit them hard.
I'm just gonna hit something.
Spank the ads.
Spanking it.